Well, folks, here we again for the weekly forecast, and as expected last week, we talked about that heavy precipitation last week, and it did come to fruition. Most of the heaviest of the moisture was in south central and southeast Nebraska, up through east central Nebraska. The Omaha, South Omaha area received unofficially up to 6 inches, and some unofficial reports pushing the 7-inch range. 2 to 4 inches was very common across southeast Nebraska. 1 to 2 across southeast or south central Nebraska, and then lesser totals as you move toward the north and west. And then we had a repeat performance of thunderstorm activity south of the Interstate 80 corridor Thursday morning and some redevelopment Thursday afternoon. So now we've set ourselves up with that warm air moving in from that system on Thursday. So let's take a look at the upper air models and see what we can store for the rest of the weekend. With that warm air in place, as it's moved toward the east of us with this little trough, high pressure firmly in control, bringing our winds out of the southwest in the upper atmosphere. Low pressure at the surface is going to be very moisture starved, so most of the precipitation that's going to occur is going to occur well east of this region ahead of the warm front as the low pressures build toward the east. As we get into Sunday, we get a strong southwesterly flow in the atmosphere, probably the warmest day of the 7-day period. Low pressure is going to develop over western South Dakota, and that will keep a southwest flow from the surface into our region. Most of the precipitation is the north of us. Temperatures should be well into the 90s. 90 to 95 looks to be pretty much persistent across the state. As we get into Monday, we see this trough trying to lift out into the northern plains. We have a surface low developing in western Kansas that will allow to bring some moisture up into our region, but it looks like the brunt of the focus of that moisture will be to the north of us, particularly northern Iowa, southern Minnesota. And then as we get on the day on Tuesday, that trough starts to move toward the Great Lakes and tries to deepen somewhat, but we have high pressure firmly in control over Nebraska, low pressure down in Texas. That'll pump the moisture up to the east of us and north of us, so the major intersection of moisture once again appears to be the upper Great Lakes region. And then that trough kind of dies out somewhat. We still have that southwest to northeastern flow in the upper atmosphere, high pressure over the central plains. Looks to keep us basically into the 80s across the state, with most of the precipitation still staying to the east of us. Now as we get into the day on Thursday, we start to flatten out the flow, a little zonal flow. That means that we're going to see a little bit milder temperature, maybe just to back off a couple degrees on our temperatures. Low pressure developing once again in north central portions of South Dakota. That'll allow some more moisture conversion. It looks like it's targeting eastern Nebraska and western Iowa with the best chances for moisture. And then that system passes to the east, and we still remain in a zonal flow for Friday. Temperature will rebound somewhat, but we have a series of low pressure systems lining up that may allow some moisture to move toward the north and generate some precipitation, particularly from Iowa and points to the east. The 8 to 14 day forecast from next Thursday to the following Tuesday keeps the warm temperatures in place, and in terms of precipitation brings dry conditions to the central plains.